What's up, Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Starting off with local news, investigators are looking into the cause of a gas explosion in the northern city of Zhubei over the weekend. The gas company says a stone got into a pipeline, but as John Van Trieste reports, there could be more to the story.
Combing through the aftermath, investigators in Hsinchu County want to know what went wrong with the gas supply on Saturday. The Hsinchu Gas Company says a stone-like foreign object got into a pipe, causing damage and a spike in pressure. The result was a series of gas leaks and fires that injured 6 people. That included an explosion that destroyed an apartment. One resident suffered burns over 90% of his body. Officials also say there were reports of a possibly related leak Sunday.
灯都融掉了，然后这边也是，这整个铝门都毁掉了。
County chief and chair of the company's board, Yang Wen-ke, is back from a trip to Japan to manage the response.
我们表达万分的歉意，那我们会负责一切的损失跟医药的负担。
And the local prosecutor's office is looking for evidence of negligence. It won't say whether it plans to question Yang. Safety experts say gas pipes and equipment are built to withstand higher than normal pressure as a precaution. This has led disaster prevention groups to suspect the affected buildings had old or loose gas fittings.
接到瓦斯的炉具等等这个部分，也有可能原本就没有很密合的话，那本来没有超过预期的压力，它可能还不至于松脱。可是如果压力突然变大了，让本来就已经不是那么密合的管线导致松脱，也有可能。那这些可能是我们一开始无法预期。
Gas explosions like this are rare, but not unprecedented. In 2014, an underroad pipeline in the southern city of Kaohsiung exploded with such force it blew a car 3 stories into the air. 32 people died and hundreds were injured. Back in Zhubei, investigators are searching for answers as the cleanup continues, with authorities on high alert for any further leaks. Ethan Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
A diplomat is the latest high-profile figure accused of sexual misconduct in Taiwan's Me Too movement. Zhang Suohan was the representative to Thailand until he quit earlier this month. Allegations against him have since emerged. Bing Wang has details.
Less than a year after taking up the post, Taiwan's representative to Thailand, Zhang Suohan, has resigned for personal reasons. He now faces accusations of sexual harassment. Zhuang had allegedly touched the secretary's hands and repeatedly asked her to meet him in his hotel room. The secretary then reported the incident, leading to the diplomat's resignation. Taiwan's foreign ministry confirmed a complaint was made and are preparing for a more in-depth investigation.
经初步调查属实，基于零容忍的最高标准，即在第一时间要求庄大使辞职，除持续对当事人表达关心外，并视其需要提供心理支持方案及调整工作环境。
Zhuang released a statement denying the accusations and stated he would fully cooperate with an investigation. He claims he held his secretary's hand to acknowledge a job well done. He also invited his secretary to his room to review itineraries and revise an English speech. The allegation has raised concerns from across the political spectrum.
诸位单位接连传出性骚疑云，本席要求外交部全面彻查。 并且安排外管性平课程，否则可能伤及台湾国际形象。
外交部都有义务跟责任对外讲清楚、说明白，否则会让外界觉得始终是有黑箱的感觉。
Since last month, around 150 people have come out against the alleged abusers, sparked by a popular Taiwanese TV series that dealt with sexual harassment. It's become the country's biggest wave in the Me Too movement, a global campaign against sexual misconduct. It's opened a conversation about inappropriate behaviors and power dynamics that activists hope will lead to social change. Klein Wang and Bing Wang for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan has started refitting its surveillance drones with weapons to prepare them for combat. That's according to a source close to the military. The source says the Army is putting laser targeting systems and ammunition drums on some of its helicopter drones. These unmanned vehicles were designed here in Taiwan and were first revealed in January. Soldiers only need 2 weeks of training to pilot them. Turning to international news, over the weekend, a Russian private army staged a military coup inside Russia. Within 24 hours, the Wagner group got within 200 kilometers of Moscow before a deal was struck with the government. But the group's rapid gains have many questioning the security of Russia's leadership. Jaime Okan reports.
A Russian military helicopter firing flares to evade a missile. An explosion at a fuel depot, and troops fortifying the capital city. These were just some of the chaotic images seen in Russia over the weekend as the country's largest private army turned against the country's leadership. The Wagner group is led by this man, Yevgeny Prigozhin. He says he sent Wagner forces deep into Russian territory after a substantial amount of his troops were killed by a Russian missile strike.
Это не военный переворот, это марш справедливости. Наши действия никак не мешают войскам.
The Wagner group was hired to fight as shock troops in Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Their most notable offensive was in the Ukrainian city of Bakhmut, where they made significant gains compared to their regular army counterparts. But on Saturday, Wagner forces crossed the border back into Russia towards the city of Rostov-on-Don. This is one of Russia's main logistics hubs for its invasion of Ukraine and home to several military bases. But in just a few hours, Wagner tanks and soldiers had fully occupied the city. They were greeted with cheers from the people living there, images which were of huge concern to the Russian government.
Мы находимся в штабе, 7 часов 30 минут утра, под контролем военные объекты Ростова, в том числе аэродром.
In response, Russian President Vladimir Putin issued an arrest warrant for Prigozhin and described the group's actions as mutiny.
Мы не дадим этому повториться. Защитим и наш народ, и нашу государственность от любых угроз. В том числе от внутреннего предательства. А то, с чем мы столкнулись, это именно предательство.
After taking Rostov in the south, Wagner forces then began moving north to the city of Voronezh. This road is a straight shot to the capital, Moscow, and on the way, Russian forces opened fire on the group. In the ensuing fight, a fuel depot exploded, and Wagner forces reportedly shot down 6 Russian helicopters and an airplane. The Wagner group was just 200 kilometers away from Moscow when a deal with the Russian government was reached.
Сейчас наступил тот момент, когда кровь может пролиться. Поэтому, понимая всю ответственность за то, что будет пролита русская кровь с одной из сторон, мы разворачиваем свои колонны и уходим в обратном направлении в полевые лагеря согласно плану.
Yevgeny is now reportedly in exile in Belarus, and all charges against him have been dropped. Analysts around the world are highlighting the speed at which his rebellion took place. In less than 24 hours, Wagner forces managed to pose a significant threat to Putin's leadership. And all of this happened as Ukraine makes steady gains in its ongoing counteroffensive against Russian forces.
This is a push for Putin to think about the restructuring, or perhaps restructuring the Ministry of Defense and putting somebody much more capable with military experience, or with greater military experience than Defense Minister Shoigu. But it's difficult because it's difficult to find people whom you can trust and who will not stab you in the back, especially in a country like Russia's.
Wagner forces are now headed back to Ukraine as part of Russia's invasion forces. But while it was short-lived, this 24-hour rebellion almost triggered a war inside Russia's borders, something that will be deeply worrying for Vladimir Putin. Alex Chen and Jaime Okan for TaiwanPlus.
The U.S. Coast Guard has launched an investigation into last week's deadly tourist submersible accident. The probe is being made by a Marine Board of Investigation, or MBI.
An MBI is the highest level of investigation the Coast Guard conducts, and enables the U.S. to fully leverage investigative resources Coast Guard-wide and capitalize on an extensive network of cooperative relationships with international maritime administrations and organizations.
5 people were killed when OceanGate's Titan submersible imploded during a dive to the wreckage of the Titanic. The accident has raised concerns about the largely unregulated tourist submersible industry. Investigators are working with the FBI to collect evidence. The investigation will also include authorities from countries like the UK and Canada. Polls have closed in Guatemala's presidential election, but none of the 22 candidates are expected to get enough votes to win, and a runoff is likely in mid-August. Before voting began, 2 candidates led many polls: former First Lady Sandra Torres and Zuri Rios, the daughter of Guatemala's former military dictator. Voters and officials have criticized the election, citing corruption and fraud. Guatemala is one of Taiwan's 13 diplomatic allies. Torres vowed to maintain official relations with Taiwan. Rios did not say whether she supported keeping those ties, but said she values Taiwan. Singapore has held its first Pride rally since the country repealed its ban on sexual relations between men. Thousands of people crammed into a park in the center of the city-state on Saturday in the annual Pink Dot event. It's Singapore's most high-profile LGBTQ rights rally. The event has been widely credited with helping soften attitudes towards the LGBTQ community. This year was also the first Pink Dot since the government repealed a colonial-era law that criminalized sex between men. Back in Taiwan, summer's here and people are looking for ways to cool off. And one cave on the outlying Green Island has really been making a splash. Sally Jensen has more.
Ready to take the plunge? These holidaymakers are throwing themselves into the unknown. This is the not-so-secret Blue Cave on Green Island off Taiwan's southeastern coast. Its pristine pools attract hundreds of would-be divers looking to beat the heat. But for these intrepid spelunkers, the prize is worth the struggle to get there. The cave provides another source of income for the local tourism industry, but guides must be on full alert in case disaster strikes. Guides are warning visitors not to try to visit the cave alone if you don't want to get in a whole lot of trouble. Devin Tsai and Sally Jensen for TaiwanPlus.
Now sports. Taiwan's top badminton player has claimed another gold medal. On Sunday, Tai Tzu Ying won the women's singles event at the Taipei Open for the 5th time. She bested her U.S. opponent Zhang Beiwen in 2 straight games. It was one of Dai's last competitions. In April, she announced her plans to retire after the Paris Olympics next year. Dai has competed in the Summer Games 3 times and claimed a silver medal in the Tokyo Olympics in 2021. A restaurant in Yunlin County is offering a very unusual take on classic ramen. But this dish has been dividing opinion. Some might even say it's rather monstrous. Tomasz Koper tells us more.
Look out, it's Godzilla! But don't worry, the king of monsters isn't actually showing up at dinner tables in western Taiwan. Instead, people there can now try out Godzilla Crocodile Ramen, the newest menu item at a ramen shop in Yunlin County. Crocodiles are a delicacy in some parts of the world, but not in Taiwan. And so far, opinions are split on the unusual-looking dish. Marinated crocodile is the dish's main ingredient, along with baby corn, quail eggs, mushrooms, and ramen broth. The shop's owner hopes the soup will give patrons an unforgettable and unique dining experience. The meat is supposedly rich in collagen, said to be good for skin, and some say it tastes like chicken. Even though crocodile legs are not used in traditional medicine, other parts of the animal are believed to have health benefits. But with a price tag of almost $50 per bowl, it's unlikely this dish will be sold on a huge scale. Patrick Chen and Tomasz Koper for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, check out these images of wild bison at Elk Island National Park in Canada. I'm Eric Gao. Take care and see you next time.